Hi Lancers, and welcome to week 6. We're going to talk today about requesting a FOIA request, and we're going to talk about this for the Department of Education. So the Department of Education, you can request FOIA requests from here, and their policy is to consistently and uniformly provide a disclosure of records. And there's a uniform process for that because we want everybody to have equal access, requesting it the same way so there's no discrimination or favoritism in trying to retrieve these records. So anyone can receive the requests, and it's our right, it's the public's right to request records from federal government agencies, which we talked about this week. So the top right, or I'm sorry, the top left here we have the website address, which I also had on the prior slide, but we have www.ed.gov. So that's just a little caption of what the screen should look like on the top for the Department of Education. And on the top right, where we have the FOIA request here, you're just going to type FOIA request. And this new page is going to come up where it's the Freedom of Information Act. And it's going to give you a lot of information on here actually. There's, lots of downloads that you can press for templates and things like that. But I just kind of wanted to show you the page, what it looks like for now. So this large section here where the blue arrow's at, it says the Freedom of Information Act. And there's this little diary of different links that you can select about FOIA, about the Privacy Act, FOIA Library, making a request, etc. So that gives you a lot of options right there. If you just want to browse and look around, you can click on those, or you can simply go straight to making a request. But one of the neat things that I found is that there is actually a FOIA library within the United States Department of Education. So there's a lot of stuff that's already been requested, and they've posted that and have made it already publicly available. So before submitting your request and having to wait or pay, you might want to search through the library to see if in fact something that is interesting you is already there. So within that page that we were previously on, if you had scrolled down, there would be these different options for you to submit requests. So again, they have that little diary section where you're going to click on making a request, and this is the information that's going to pop up. You've got several different options of how you can make requests, and you can do that through submitting it online. You can do it by fax, or you can also do it by mail. So again, there's lots of clicking in here, PDF forms, appeal forms, because if you had done a request and it was denied, there's a process to appeal that as well. So I've listed here the online information, the fax number, and also the mailing address. So those are your different ways. And depending upon if this is a new request or an appeal, you would pick one of those forms right there, the FOIA request form, and you would download that and you would go ahead and fill out the information it's requesting. There is a checklist, so before you submit anything, just go ahead and verify that you've filled out all the required information on the actual checklist. Because again, you don't want to be waiting for your information and have it not be available to you because something was missing. So that's also something neat that they've provided, so you to just kind of double check and make sure that you've got everything listed there. This is an actual copy of one of the templates that you may have downloaded. And I didn't specifically go through the online or fax or mail process because in the end the information is the same that you actually need. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we want to make sure that we have access to the right places, access to the right forms, and knowing exactly what we need to submit, what makes it complete, and where it goes. So this is a copy of one of the templates, and it's got all the information as to why you're seeking this information. They really want to know what it is that you're going to be doing with the information that they provide to you. Because as I mentioned, anyone can provide or can request this information, but there are obviously some exceptions to the rules, like fugitives or foreign government or international government organizations or any of their representatives. So otherwise, individuals, foreign citizens, corporations, state and local governments, everybody has, access to it. But again, you want to make sure that you are, again, filling this information out properly. So you're probably wondering, well, how do I get my information? How does it come back to me? So the Department of Education, they generally provide it in two formats, email attachment and CD. So obviously the email is a lot quicker delivery process, and we all like to have things at our fingertips. Um, a large volume of their requests actually have to be formatted onto CDs and sent through the mail. So I thought that that was kind of interesting. So for questions that you may have, how long does this take? How long is it going to take for me to receive my records request? Well, depending upon your request, again, how large it is and what other resources they have to, look into to get the information to you. But generally, they allow 20 business days to respond to your request. So if for any reason that your request takes longer, um, the Department of Notification will actually notify you that they're giving themselves basically a 10-day extension to process your information. So I thought that was interesting. So they're notifying you, the requester, of a 10-day extension to process this. Another question that you probably have is, do I have to pay for this request? And it kind of depends. Certain types of requests do have fees, but there is a waiver process that you can go through. And it depends upon if the information that you're requesting is actually within the public's interest. So I found on their website that they defined public interest is defined as information which significantly enhances the public's knowledge of the operations and activities of the education department. So you'd have to be fitting into one of the categories, like a commercial requester, an educational requester, teachers, schools, things like that. Non-commercial scientific, which is, it's a scientific institution that's conducting scientific research, and maybe they need educational research regarding their study. There's media, and there's other requesters too, but in the end, they want you to at least have a willingness to pay, or openness to pay, regardless of what category you fall into. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to pay, but they generally grant the fee waivers, but it really just depends upon the subject, the volume of information and data that has to be sent to you, and your ability to spread or share that information too. So and then also, how do I check the status of my request? So when you submit that form that I showed you earlier, whether it's by email, whether it's through online, by fax, by mail, you're going to be getting, when they get it back, you're going to get an acknowledgement. So your file request, or FOIA request number, will be listed in the acknowledgement of receipt letter. So when they actually acknowledge that they've received your request through either one of those methods that you submitted, you're going to get a number. And there's an actual spreadsheet that you can go to and check. You can see this link here, or you can call, or you can actually email as well. But again, the important thing is that you do have that acknowledgement request number, so that way they can search your specific request. And I just want to thank you all for listening. I hope we all have a great week. We're in the home stretch. Stay focused. We can do this. Talk to you later.